Hey everybody, what is going on? This is Sam here with iUpdateOS.
And Jake from Lego My Django.
And welcome everyone to episode number 5 now, I do believe, of the Jailbreak Jab. In this episode, we are covering iOS 8, some stuff about WWDC, and OS 10.10 Yosemite.
Which is a little bit overdue, but regardless, we're doing it anyway.
We are doing it anyway. There's nothing you can do to stop us.
Yeah.
Just kidding, guys. But I think we want to start out with the WWDC presentation. Just a very quick overview of what we thought. Did we like it? Comparing it to past years. All that quick stuff right here. So, Jake, what was your initial impression after the keynote ended? What did you think about the keynote? This is awesome. This is great. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing to take away was definitely Yosemite. iOS 8, iOS is great, but
yeah.
I knew going into that there wasn't going to be that much. A lot of the stuff that is in iOS 8 is stuff that's kind of behind the doors.
Yeah.
It's not stuff that you would really notice all the time. But I think the biggest thing, and what I actually did expect, or was expecting Apple to eventually do, was to have go for the coherent thing. Mm-hmm. All your devices sync together, able to do different things, and able to connect and do all those things together. Seamlessly, which is awesome. I was really happy about that. And basically, I think the winner of that so far has been Windows. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but their tile system and their, the tile system is both on Windows 8 now and on their Windows Phone. And the Windows Phone and Windows 8 connect to each other in a very coherent way. I haven't really been able to see it firsthand, but I can just tell that they do with all that stuff they have in Windows 8. So it's really nice to see it on Mac. And so far, it looks like they're going to beat Windows, maybe blow Windows out of the water with this one, with the ability to call from your Mac, even though your iPhone just has to be kind of nearby.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really matter.
So
it just has to be in the home network. That's very handy, because I've always seen that happening or wanting that to happen at some point.
Yeah, and finally, Apple was pretty much coining the name continuity, which I actually made my impressions video. I kind of turned in my impressions of OS 10.10, or I'm just going to call it Yosemite. My impressions of Yosemite video, I basically turned it into talking about what would happen if Apple could nail this continuity thing. And this was in Yosemite Developer Preview 1 and iOS 8 Beta 1 before continuity was working. In iOS 8 Beta 2 and Developer Preview 2, Apple made it work, and I have to say, guys, I know it's still in beta, but it is absolutely awesome. I'm going to have a video up on the channel in a couple of days that I filmed, I filmed and talked about it. I just got to edit it together, and then it will be up on the channel, but it will be demonstrating how you can be on your Mac, browsing the internet, and have your phone next to your computer, and there's a little Safari icon if you're on the web. In the bottom left corner, when you swipe up, enter your passcode if you have one, it will just about immediately launch the web page that you had on your Mac very, very seamlessly. It can't get any easier than that, guys. It works so well.
And that it was really cool to see that at the keynote. And the keynote was it was really good, but it was a lot different than I think what we've seen in the past. It was had a different feeling, and
Definitely.
what their goal was to show at it was really appealing to developers, which makes sense considering the event is called the Worldwide Developers Conference. I know if you weren't really interested in that until it kind of wanted them to shut up and get back to the features, but that's what WWDC is. You said, Sam, that it goes on all week or whatever, or 4 days after that.
Yeah, it goes on. WWDC is actually from Monday to Friday. That entire week, developers are there getting hands-on with the latest iOS, the latest OS 10, learning what they can do to incorporate it into their apps, attending these sessions with Apple developers and Apple engineers is what I was trying to come up with. Apple engineers teaching them how to use this new software, what the advantage is, and how they can make their apps and their software better than ever before. And as much as I love Apple talking about the features, this year, the aura that I got from when Apple was done, I got the sense that Apple is focusing on the developers. They talked about some development stuff this year. They introduced all these new kits like HomeKit. They added some new Sprite Kit features. They added Touch ID Kit to use in apps. Just loads and loads of behind-the-scenes stuff, like Jake mentioned earlier, talking about these new features that they had incorporated into iOS 8 that the public really wouldn't see. Even I'm an iOS developer. I haven't really taken the time to completely study code and learn how to write it from entirety of scratch. I still need some help from the internet, tutorials and good stuff like that. But it really seemed like they focused on the developers this keynote. That's the impression that I got.
Yeah, and I mean, WWDC was created, I mean, for developers because, I mean, originally, I mean, the Mac was lagging behind in the amount of apps that I had compared to Windows. And, I mean, today, I mean, I guess you could say that's true, but Windows and Mac, I mean, they're two different things. They have their own versions of what you might find on the other, which makes it completely the same. So it's just, it was really nice to see how all of this connected together at WWDC.
Yeah, almost like a connect the dots. Like, here's what we had in the past, now we're tying it all together. And I thought that was really cool.
So,
as far as, well, what do you want to talk about next?
Yosemite, new look.
Yes, that was, I mean, there were rumors for months about that it was basically going to be a different design, and I kind of expected a new design, but I'm a huge fan of Yosemite. What do you think, Jake?
I kind of feel the same about it as I did with iOS 7. I mean, I was happy there was a change in design. I mean, but I don't know, like, I mean, once again, going with those flat icons, why are we doing this? If you guys have watched Rooster Teeth and Gus Sorolla, any of you know him, then you'll completely, basically everything he said, I mean, I guess I basically agree with, because everybody's doing this, and
it's true.
I want to say it started with Android. They had matte icons. Those looked pretty nice, but then we just decided to take it to an even flatter level, and it's just like, they're actually pretty nice icons. Like Windows, iOS 7 completely flat. Like, I mean, there was a little bit of gradient, but like, I mean, but the Yosemite actually has like design in them and like different things going on and stuff like that. So I do think that the overall, overall design of the Mavericks looks very nice. I really like the translucent windows. Yeah, that looks very nice.
Oh, it looks so good. If you guys want to see,
I love clear UI.
Yeah, it looks nice. If you want to see what this looks like actually like being used by a real person and not like Apple's video on the design changes, check out the link below, either in this YouTube video or the description of this podcast, by hitting the little info button. And I made a video of my impressions of Yosemite where I actually show me using it on the operating system and on my second partition on my Mac. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And I think you guys, if you like iOS 7, I think you'll like Yosemite. If you hate iOS 7 and you have a Mac, I don't think you're going to love Yosemite. I think iOS 7 or iOS 8 now and Yosemite are so closely tied together that if you like one, you'll like the other. That's kind of my impression of it.
I don't think it beats, unfortunately, I don't think it beats Leopard, when Leopard came out.
I do not. I don't even think I was in the Mac scene.
I mean, I wasn't, but I just really thought it was awesome when Leopard came out. I'm like, well, that bar on the top's gray now, like, and oh my gosh, the dock is in a rectangle now, and now we're going back to the rectangle.
Yeah,
making it as
rounded rectangle.
Simpler, rounded. Sorry. The dock always has been my favorite thing about Macs.
Yeah, I really love the translucent dock though. It looks really, really nice.
It does look very nice.
I'm like looking at my Maverick stock, and I like the way that looks. It's got a cool little
I
reflection.
actually didn't notice the Maverick stock for a while. I didn't notice that it had changed until I don't think I watched last year's WWDC. I did watch the iPhone conference, which I was very impressed with. And
Yeah.
When
the
iPhone
cool.
5S was a very big release, and I actually think it's really good, and like it was a huge deal. It was the best thing that I had seen since from Apple since like the iPhone. I think I haven't seen something really good like from Apple in a while. And the iPhone 4, instantly when I saw it, I was like, that should be thinner. It seems too fat, and I know the iPhone 5 did. I mean, everybody was expecting the design to change though. So with the iPhone 5S, you had this really cool space gray that looked like a MacBook in the palm of your hand, and you got the fingerprint sensor, the twice as fast processor inside of it.
That was crazy.
And yeah, it was really...
Still is crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean...
It is awesome.
And for not everybody might not need that, but for jailbreak tweaks, you definitely...
Oh, yeah. Power users, A7
yeah.
is a huge plus. But if we take a look, taking a little shifting gears here to some iOS 8 features, I just want to tell you right off the bat, there's this new keyboard called the QuickType keyboard.
I don't know where they got that from.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, they got it, of course, from Android. Because it just gives you suggestions like Android's had for a very long time. But it's finally on iOS.
Oh, wait. Did Android do that first? I thought BlackBerry did it first.
Oh, you might be right.
I mean, I'm not sure. I thought... when I was selling the Z10 with BlackBerry, that was something that they were kind of pushing. So I don't know.
All right, I may be wrong. I'm open for criticism.
I didn't know Android for that. I know Android for the keyboard where you go like...
Oh, yeah, the swipe key.
Yeah, the swipe keyboard.
Which is great news if you are an Android user and you are struggling about coming over to iOS.
Yeah.
Or just iOS users in general, there is third-party keyboard support now in iOS 8.
Which is pretty crazy.
That means basically you can get the Android swipe key to spell words keyboard on throughout your entire device on iOS 8. Anywhere you are that uses the default keyboard, you will be able to use this third-party keyboard, which it's pretty much crazy.
It's insane because Apple has always not been up for customization.
Very closed.
And that's why we jailbreak, which, if this continues to get bigger, if this continues and there's other stuff added, jailbreaking may become obsolete.
Yeah.
If it's just built into iOS and it doesn't take an extra step, it's a very big change, and everybody has it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Jailbreaking. Some people were saying jailbreaking is dead during the WWDC 2014 keynote, but I don't agree with that.
There's still too much more that you can do on with jailbreaking that you can't do on generic iOS.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I love QuickType keyboard and how you have suggestions that pop up above the keyboard. That's cool. I'm not complaining about that.
I never viewed the keyboard as the break for the choice of jailbreaking.
That's definitely not gonna skew my view on I
didn't go, oh my gosh, I can't wait to jailbreak so I can change my keyboard.
Yeah. I jailbreak because I like these little changes that make my device what I want my device to be, regardless of what Apple wants it to be design-wise, regardless of what the world wants your device to look like. You can make your device look and function nearly exactly how you want to. And that's what I love about jailbreaking. It's so much fun to customize your device. And I know if there's an Android person that somehow stumbles across this video, they'll be like, dude, just get an Android. You can do that right off the bat. Well, yeah, but I like the iOS feel. I like the iOS experience. And people may laugh when you say the experience, well, how is the experience different? It's just a phone. The experience is different. It feels it's very hard to explain, Jake, isn't it?
It is. I've always liked Mac more. I mean, it's just with Android, it's just not. It just doesn't feel as like coherent.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't feel unified.
Right. It's just, and on Android, I don't know one person who has an Android phone of my friends. I mean, I've seen a lot of Android phones where it's been customized just out of the, like, just totally changed. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen that. I mean, I see other jailbreakers with different themes. I don't see, like, some completely different theme on Android, which I can do on iOS. Like, I mean, I understand there's some cool things like the launchers, which are cool, but that's really all I know about.
Same. I'm very limited knowledge-wise.
Right. I mean, and routing's pretty cool, but, like, if you're gonna root, you're going to be using another software, or, you know, maybe like a different version of, like, whatever, you know, Android 4.0 with some cool stuff added to it, but you're using somebody else's, like, totally thing, like a theme and this other stuff. So, like, a custom launcher that's part of that comes with the theme, like these packages. But with iOS, you manage those individually. I mean,
Yeah.
I can have a theme, and then I can have this tweak, and then I can make it any way I want to with those custom OSs on Android that are not tailored to exactly how you want them to be.
Yeah. It's very, very different experience as far as I understand it than jailbreaking and rooting. Same concept, but very different usability-wise, I think.
Yeah. So I think another big thing with iOS and Yosemite was the iCloud. The iCloud is changing into, like, the iCloud Drive and more of a folder aspect that we've seen with other with other things like Dropbox and the OneDrive from Windows, and it's also coming to Windows. So now I can have, like, 4 cloud services on one computer. So that's really great.
Yeah, but I am excited for the cloud drive because
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it even shows a picture of a PC on the cloud drive section for iOS 8 that everything looks like it's going to be really, really just tied together. I think Apple's just nailing this continuity thing, and they're just trying to make everything feel so integrated, like it was meant to be from the beginning. Because iOS and OS X, they felt similar always, but they've never felt exactly tied together. Yes, there's been, like, I remember iCloud Sync was a huge thing when it first came out. I was very excited that I could pick up a game on my iPhone and finish at the same spot on my iPad. But really, there was never no Mac and iOS not usable, but I can't even think of the right word, but really great quality integration. There was some third-party stuff here and there that worked okay with the same cloud, but there was nothing that made it very easy and very fluid until now to, for example, be browsing on your Mac with Safari and pick it right up on your iPad or iPad
very
or
useful.
iPhone. It's an extremely awesome feature. But iCloud Drive is awesome. There's this folder on your Mac, it looks like to be in Finder, where you can just drag stuff, and that isn't actually on your computer, it's in the cloud. And I haven't really tried it out in Yosemite yet, but just from the looks of it, very impressed so far.
Yeah. So let's see.
Health is new.
Yeah, health.
Health?
I expected to see more
Yes.
of that.
Yeah.
I know Sam was too.
Okay, so basically my understanding of health was it was going to be Apple's own app with a heart rate monitor and all this stuff in their app, their version of this. But what we got was an empty app that's pretty much entirely useless until developers incorporate HealthKit into their apps. Because right now, my health book is happily resting on my iPhone 5S. And you can manually log heart rate. Yeah, you can take it with a third-party app, transfer it over, but that's not seamless, that's not integrated. No one wants to use it. They can have an app that can do that for them.
Yeah.
Health will only be viable if developers take advantage of its full realm and its use. Because, I mean, like I said, right now, honestly, just like third-party keyboard support, it's useless. You cannot use it.
The problem with these things is that if they're not going to make their own version of it. It doesn't. Not everybody likes. Not everybody. They have their own thing. Plenty of people use it. Why would they change it now?
Yeah, very. I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
So it was interesting to see, and I don't think there'll actually be some type of setting where you can actually see these. They're cool icons to see on here. All the kits.
Yeah, they look pretty cool, I have to say. Sprite kit, scene kit, I'm looking at. And then, of course, Swift was introduced, which is kind of crazy. It's this entirely new programming language. That Apple
it's actually built off of a programming language.
Not entirely.
Right.
It's a new type of programming language.
Right.
But, I mean, you're just kind of out of the blue. We have a new programming language that you can use. And just from me looking at it, it seems very, very simple to understand. Definitely something that's very cool. And
so,
I'm excited for it. I'm going to try to learn it. So, I mean, that's just a really cool thing that Apple announced at WWDC was this entirely new programming language that I think is going to definitely open up the developer market for younger developers and more developers to make more apps and ultimately make your phone or iPod or iPad better to use than ever before.
And, I totally agree with that. And then what do you think about, like, these contacts inside of the... What is this? I still am puzzled by what this is.
So some people have said that they think they look out of place and they look terrible. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really mind them there. I mean, it might not be the most logical place to put them, but I honestly don't have anything against them there.
What does it do?
Oh, see, you tap on one, and then it pops out with, like, phone, mobile, FaceTime.
I don't have a picture.
Oh, yeah, that's Jake.
So, wait.
Call. No, I'm joking. I have
okay, that's actually pretty... But it's just there?
Yeah, there's no way to get rid of it. And I guarantee that these thin outlined icons are going to be changed by the final beta.
Well, so why is this here and not, like, in, like...
Notification center?
Not... Well, yeah, I think either... Let me take a look at this. So, there, in iOS 8... Can you want to explain? Like, it's these... In iOS 8, inside of the multitask area...
Yeah, there's, like, these circular contact pictures. And when you tap on one, it comes up with contact information for that person. And... I think it's useful. If you want to see a screenshot of what we're talking about, once again, check. Well, we'll have pretty much everything that we talked about in this video linked down below, of course, to Apple's official website where they talk about iOS 8 for themselves, and a bunch of videos that I made on iOS 8 too. So check for that down below in the description. But, I mean, I honestly don't have anything against the contact icons. I know a lot of people were ripping on them, saying, why would they put them there? They look terrible. They have nothing to do with multi-switch. Not multi-switcher. I'm thinking of jailbreak tweaks, like the quick switcher. Not multitasking view. But, I mean, I don't know. It's called the multitasking view. It almost makes sense to me that there would be things to multitask with in the multitasking view. I don't know. That's just my little piece of info there.
Yeah, I just think it would have made more sense within the notification center.
Yeah, but speaking of the notification center, one thing that I am extremely excited about in iOS 8 is widgets. Widgets.
Oh, yeah.
Widgets.
Yeah, it's about time.
Very exciting time for iOS users.
Yeah.
Basically...
And I knew they would appear in this way, too. Not on the actual springboard.
Yeah, it's... One day we can still dream and hope for the springboard and widgets there, but for now, basically, Apple has given the option for developers to put widgets in Notification Center. I saw either Vine or Instagram, or maybe even a very short YouTube video the other day of this German company that had this flashlight app, or maybe they even made a widget extension for the Philips Hue light bulbs, and maybe they're even the ones who make it.
The color ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they made a widget to where when they tapped a widget in Notification Center, a light turned on in their house.
That's actually pretty cool.
Without having to open an app.
Yeah, I think it's about time that they got these in there, and I'm very happy. I know nobody uses notification. I mean, I use it to check a notification that I missed. Finally, this will make a good use for it. Maybe it makes it kind of more like a dashboard from
it's
Mac.
definitely. I mean, it's kind of awesome again. I would have to say, Notification Center was a huge thing when it first came out, and I believe iOS 5. I want to say, but I mean, I use it to check notifications if I get mentioned on Twitter. Or I got a tweet from somebody. I don't know, something like that. But there was nothing drawing me into it until third-party widget support, and I'm just thinking, we got a garage door opener at home that you can open it and close it and see if it's open or closed from your smartphone. You can check all that good stuff from your smartphone, or from your iPod Touch as well. I don't think there's an iPad version, but just thinking of the idea to be able to swipe down a Notification Center, tap a button, and my garage door to open. It's just awesome. I mean, I just cannot wait to see if this Chamberlain garage door app incorporates that into Notification Center. That would be absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to see the future of even HomeKit, people integrating things into Notification Center to make basically a, no pun intended, control center for your Notification Center.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, it seems like they would have put Control Center controls, like widgets, in Control Center. Well, no, that wouldn't really make sense, but...
in Control Center?
I mean, I guess Control Center
I
is
just don't know where it would
Yeah, it wouldn't fit anywhere. I'm just thinking that...
Right.
I'm thinking of controls and controls.
Oh.
For, like, widgets and stuff. But Notification Center makes sense because there's tons of room. Because it covers your entire screen. And all that good stuff. But Spotlight Search also got a refresh, too. Spotlight Search, arguably, is useful again. It's got new features where you can search.
Some people use it.
Some people do use it a lot. Did you use it a lot?
No, I did not.
I did not use it a lot either.
I mean, like, I'm big on the page animations and yeah.
But I used it to search an app. Probably, I can count the number of times on my fingers. Probably, maybe a few more than that, maybe 20 since I've had iOS 7. I just don't go there because there's nothing there for me. But luckily in iOS 8, there's lots of new features where you can, I believe, search for things like movies, all from Spotlight. It's really cool.
And that's pretty cool to have. It kind of reminds me of, like the Android thing and, or not Android, Amazon, kind of what they have on their Kindle.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can, like, search for stuff, and also... kind of off, topic is, Linux has a search system on Unity, which is basically like a type of desktop that the, like, modified version of it runs off of it. They have kind of this center where it has all their apps and you can search and it'll pull up stuff online too. So that's pretty cool to see, and other things also.
Yeah, as far as everything that Spotlight Search can do, it can search Wikipedia, search for news, search nearby places, search the iTunes Store, the App Store, the iBook Store. It can even pull up suggested websites, and it can show movie showtimes, which is really awesome. It's like these features that used to be Siri only, which I never understood why you could ask for movie times in Siri, but never search for them. And now finally...
that is kind of interesting to...
Finally, it's like they integrated it into iOS, and I'm very excited. Well, not very excited to use it because I've already used it, but just from what I've seen so far, it's been incredibly useful, and I'm super excited about it. Just iOS 8 in general, I think is... Apple even says on the homepage of their iOS 8 preview website, huge for developers. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking right now, guys. Probably getting a little bit tired. But it says huge for developers, massive for everyone else. Which just is basically saying, yeah, guys, we completely made this release mainly for developers. Which I can't blame them, because developers are only going to make their apps better and better than ever before. So, I mean, is there any other breaking features I think should be covered?
Dark UI and
Dark UI.
Yosemite.
Man, when I saw that on Yosemite, I was like, oh, calling it now in my head. Dark UI on iOS 8. Now, however, I'm going to call this now. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
I am calling that in iOS 8.1, there will be a dark mode in iOS.
All right, we'll see.
I'm calling it.
All right.
I'm saying it now, but I just have a feeling that in 8.1, it's going to be the refined version of iOS 8, that there's going to be a dark mode. Calling it now, guys. You heard it here first. Only on iUpdateOS. Just joking, guys. But
yeah, I don't think there's much else.
Yeah, much else. There's a couple new messages features where you can send voice messages and photos and videos quickly. Really reminded me of like the Snapchat concept of quick chatting. Only it's not the same because the messages don't get deleted. But I'm not a Snapchat user myself. Just not my kind of thing for now. But I think that will wrap up this week's show, guys. Definitely let us know what you think about iOS 8 and Yosemite down below in the comment section if you are watching this video podcast on YouTube. But until next time, guys, this was Sam with iUpdateOS.
And Jake from Lego My Django.
And we will see you in the next episode
of the Jailbreak Jab.